6:45 to 11 a.m., the 11 to 3, and then 3 to 7, and then everybody, all hands on deck from 7 to the end of the day. Okay? Is that okay with everyone? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pass this around. Who wants to start? Who's start? I'm gonna start and pass it on. So,
So let's call the meeting to order.
oh,
Yeah, so if you're ready to go, Ray? Mr. Chair, you ready?
It's recording. Yeah.
So the meeting is being recorded, just so everyone's aware. Couple detailed items we could talk about. You want to?
Okay, good evening all. This meeting is called to order to discuss a few issues and to discuss a few issues that we have done. Now, we want to roll call.
We do the roll call? Yeah. We'll just call it the names.
Ellen Carr,
And then
Rita Herman. Here. Judy Sojourner. Here. Joyce Williams. Here.
And if folks could approve the minutes, if you've had a chance to review the minutes, they're on the papers in front of you.
Okay, members. We have all of the minutes from the last meeting in front of us, which we have, I'm sure some of us have sent them to. Do you need additional time to review the minutes? Okay, the motion is in front of us to approve the minutes. You're a second.
Communications for the additional information.
So I sent out a certified letter for candidate Griffin. It did not reach him yet when I tracked it. Still in the process of being delivered. I also called and left a voicemail and sent an email, but I have not got a response back. And the certified mail was sent out on the 2nd, right after our meeting. Once.
Yeah, so there was one other issue. So I guess the Board of Supervisors could decide what it wants to do. You've certified 7 candidates total. There's one candidate who's not provided the additional information requested. You can decide on the options to consider based on that. If the candidate provides additional information, we could immediately notify the board. You could schedule a meeting to deal with that. Or however you wish to proceed. But as it stands, from a stepwise process, we would need to communicate the list of certified candidates to the company that's providing the ballot machines to prepare the ballots. They'll send back draft ballots, and then there's an exchange back and forth to finalize the appearance of the ballot. And then the ballot eventually becomes finalized. And obviously, there's provisions in the charter for dealing with write-in candidates and others should that become necessary or apparent. But we'd like to bring this candidate certification process to some general closure so we can communicate that to the elections. So whatever the board wants to do with that.
So the candidate decide not to comply. What's in the register? And that means he does not. His name is not on the ballot. Is that correct?
Yeah, deadline for that.
Yeah, I would say it differently. I would say until and unless the board certifies a candidate, the candidate would not appear on the ballot. So the board, in doing its due diligence, has decided a certain level of review and information about the residency requirement was necessary before it certified candidates, and it did certify 7 candidates. So if a candidate does not provide sufficient information to the board, that's the candidate's choice, and the board has acted accordingly to certify, I believe, those candidates that provided sufficient information.
Can we try to contact him by email?
Okay,
And we did, I sent an email. I sent an email on at like 1 o'clock in the morning on the 3rd, because I had to work. The email was sent as.
Send. So that the ballots can be. It's time.
so it's, I don't know the exact answer, but absentee ballot application forms are available to the public now. They're on the town's website. They're being distributed in paper form. They're available for pickup here. So if people fill out those forms and submit them to the town, they have a reasonable expectation of receiving an absentee ballot in a timely fashion so that they could mail it back to the town, drop it off at town hall, otherwise bring it to town hall on election day. So again, given that process back and forth with the company, we'd like as much time as possible to start that communication. If the candidate should provide additional information, we can convene the board quickly. If we're in the back and forth with the company on that ballot review process, that would be fine, and additional candidates could be added to the ballot while we're undergoing that review. I think the staff, the presumption of the deadline today was that we would get moving on that process. Send off the list of certified candidates after this meeting to the company.
What about if, voters have already collected the absentee ballot?
Yeah, no absent. There's a difference between the absentee ballot application and the absentee ballot.
Right, there's nobody collected the application. The point I'm getting to, somebody probably may have collected the application and indicated that person
No.
on the application.
So the application doesn't have any candidates on it. It only is a application for the person filling it out to be able to vote with the absentee ballot. So once they fill the application out, it'll get sent in, and then they will receive an actual ballot to be able to vote, and that's where the candidates.
So we never, I'm trying to avoid some.
There's an absentee application. And then there's an absentee ballot. So there's no candidates listed on the application. Just on the ballot.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you have to pick up the application, fill it out, and then
Return it.
return it, and then you pick up your ballot.
And we either get up or we would send it, email.
That was going to be my next question, until we have an answer. um, uh, Whether or not the candidates were already listed on the absentee ballot, but they are not.
Not on the ballot, yes, but not on the application. So people can still fill out their application without a certified version of that made.
Well, you can try to reach country again with, another email. And probably use that as. Link of something.
I can do that. I already sent another email today.
we will extend this time to get that information to us. If he exceeds that time, then we will do.
Handing out the absentee ballot application form. Just so you all are familiar with, it's got instructions on the back.
You guys, I'm looking at the calendar now, and if you guys tell me how long you want, I can give you a date at that.
So when you get the deadline for this year,
Yes, I'll give another deadline on this.
okay, that depends on the. Kind of a deadline before the time. Ballots are sent to the company.
So my suggestion is,
Yeah, but I would suggest we send the names, at the end of this meeting, we send the names to the company to begin the process of laying out the ballot. If additional candidates provide additional information that leads this board to certify their candidacy, we would communicate that before the ballot becomes finalized. But at least we get the process rolling to begin preparation. So,
so that they don't miss that.
yeah, I leave that up to you. I mean, we are already within 30 days of the election as of last Saturday. So you've used every means possible to reach this candidate. There is, the Postal Service is endeavoring to deliver a certified letter as we speak. I hope that upon receipt of the letter or any of the other communications, and again, these communications options were provided by the candidate on the form provided to us. So, your recommendation, not to extend this too much longer. Thursday afternoon, Friday morning. So there's a closure to this process. So 10 a.m. Friday morning. Still give staff time during Friday business hours to finalize our communications with the manufacturing company.
Everybody looking. I would say give him until Friday. That's him. 10 a.m.
All right, so hearing a motion, you want to call for all in favor?
All in favor?
Opposed? Okay. Other thing that I wanted to raise is that in the communication, there were a bunch of numbers thrown around about the word count. For the candidates to submit some biographical information and a photo. And there was a teaser put in the town's Thursday afternoon e-blast, which is in front of you. Teaser said 200 words, but the candidates will be asked to provide 200 words. Again, we've held off on communicating that directly to the candidates based on the opportunity this one candidate had to provide additional information. But as of the end of this meeting, we'd like to invite the candidates to formulate their submissions. In checking the notes, it looked, in my notes in particular, it says 100 words in a picture. So if you could reaffirm whichever of those numbers is the right number. Again, I think 100 words is fairly thin. These are going out electronically on the website and in the e-blast, so it's ones and zeros are cheap. These are digital communications. It doesn't cost us any extra to have more words available to the candidates. But again, it's your choice what word limit you set, but I think the word limit is very helpful in this process. So if it's 100 or 200 or another number, if you could reaffirm that we were instead of.
Do you have to be specific?
It would be, yes, I think you should set a specific limit. If somebody could do 1,000 words and somebody else could do 50.
What would you like, let's say 160 words, no more than 200.
I would say, if you're gonna do that, let's say 200.
Yeah.
Just
That's okay.
if that's what you want, if you're gonna say 200, I would say.
I'm putting it on.
And they go $1.
Hearing that by consensus, thank you.
And we need to set a deadline. When you guys want that.
What,
That would have to be submitted to you all in the.
Right.
Yeah.
To make all to, so that you can just make sure it gets out in a timely manner so that everybody at least has a chance to read some of it, if not all of it.
Yeah. I would say if you give them a week from today, that's still almost 3 weeks, two and a half weeks prior to the election. And then we could send it out in 2 chunks, put it on the website, and send it out in 2 email blasts, special subject email blasts that would just be about candidate biographies. Folks who are interested in the election. And I think that would be a good level of communication.
That sounds agreeable, but again, I'm asking, will that be also on the channel?
Yeah, so, and you raised this last time, and I appreciate the follow-up on that. The contractor who does all of the programming for the channel has been out of the country and will be until next week. We will have a dialogue with him as soon as he's back to communicate this stuff. I think it's a great point. We do have that resource. It's just the town staff is currently not staffed with somebody who's intimately engaged in the program. So,
Because sometimes I turn on the channel without going down it, because it's an easier just reminder of what's going on, or I'm on a phone number or something like that.
Yeah. so we'll raise that with him as soon as he's back.
So the deadline, let me see, bio. I would say no later than that's reasonable to you.
That sounds good.
I think that folks sometimes
I don't have a calendar in front of me, but that sounds good.
That's Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. Any particular time for that? Okay, perfect.
All right. In our request, will it say picture?
Uh, That's all I have on my list. Necessary steps to enable us to continue moving forward. You've got the shift schedule there. We've had some discussions about
It's over here.
I didn't say.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You need one for the.
No, that's all. If someone did, thank you.
Oh, but I can say I can do,
And this is William, Joyce Wayne. So she signed up for 2. If you want to do with her, you guys can split one too.
I'm just summer for 2. I think I just, let's see. I just submitted it.
Yeah, so,
But if you need it for now,
Okay.
Signature.
I see what you did, okay. So we just need one person to split 11 to 3 if possible, or 2 people, or 3 people, however you guys want to do it. If everybody wants to do 1 hour, or 3 people want to do 1 hour.
I can do it.
Okay. Sort? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and put your name on here, and then that way we have it all filled out. Everybody.
I was looking at it and it's, I was in.
I think it would be very helpful to have at least 2 formal members of the board on duty at all times during the polling hours. Because if somebody has a health issue or a family emergency or in the restroom or something, an emergency question, there's at least one backup person.
And then it's assuming that everybody will be here from 11 to 8.
Seven,
From
eight
seven.
to,
I mean, from 7 to 8, sorry.
from 8 to the end of town.
Yeah, I think it's going to be seven.
7,
Oh, 7 days.
7 days.
Yes, 7
7
to,
PM until the end of the count. Everybody should be here.
alright, so I will type this up and I will send a email with it and then I'll print it out for next, meeting. You guys have-
Okay, is there anything else?
Next meeting, you have some dates recommended here.
No, and that could be driven by training. So when we communicate about the ballot preparation with the company, and we will do that immediately after this meeting, I've been in touch with the company. They're ready to go for election day. So what I would suggest is that we finalize some dates with them for the training and circulate those to you by email or telephone for those who don't have email. And settle on the next date. If you want to set one now provisionally, we can aim for that, and, but that's up to you.
Okay, besides that, the submission of the final report from the school. You need to set a date for that.
You certainly could set a provisional date. If no additional documents are forthcoming, you wouldn't need to have a meeting just for that, but, by all means, yeah, feel free to set a date.
Says September.
So we can do that in the
No, that's not a meeting. That was when the deadline was for. So if we want to do it right afterwards at 12 or 10, we can, or we can wait till Monday, whatever you guys.
One is the
The time and days.
it's 2:12, so we can get it in there.
big.
2:12 be all right, everyone?
The Monday, the 13th.
If you guys don't mind, if we move it till 12:30. I have an appointment in the morning, but I should be here by 12:30. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
So that's.
Where is it?
that part.
It's the 13th.
So tentatively, next meeting is the Monday, the first of September, pending the submission of the.
Who wants?
Once we get that date, we'll give you, I'll call you guys each and we'll set up, once they give us a date, and we'll let you guys know the date that they are available to do a training.
And I think that's all staff had for decisions for the moment. Appreciate your diligence with topics and your support. I've actually gotten some positive feedback, responses from emails commending the board on, and the staff on their support of the elections and their proactive communications. The e-blasts that have gone out sort of in stepwise fashion, focused on the candidate filing deadlines that came first, and then the voter registration deadlines, and then we'll focus on the absentee ballot deadlines, and then election day deadlines themselves. So, I think, you know, I just wanted to pass along the positive commentary to you all.
Thank you. Are there any other issues? Okay, if there are no other issues, move that meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, hearing the ayes, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.